Good morning, everyone. If you are getting this video, that means that you have received one of these little brown bags filled with things for your little one who's starting kindergarten this fall. Don't worry, you're going to be okay. Mamas, dads, grandmas, and grandpas, you're going to make it through, I promise. So I have made this pack up to include a few things. We'll start with the things for caregivers. This little package has some information about speech and language and the milestones your 3 or 4-year-old should be reaching by now. If you have any concerns, you can self-refer, and that information is provided on the back, and you can call yourself. If they're not meeting those speech and language milestones, call as soon as you can. There is a little bit of a wait for speech and language. I've also provided a look-see, which used to be called the Nipissing Screen Check. This is a quick little checklist that you're going to go over with your partner, with grandparents, with caregivers, and see if your children are meeting these milestones. So on the front, there is the 4-year-old, and on the back is the 3-year-old. And then you can go to the Look-See website and you can refer so that you get the next screen tests for the following ages. If you are getting quite a few no's on the Look-See, it's a great opportunity to either have a conversation with your family practitioner or a resource consultant or one of us here at the Early On. We'd be glad to chat with you about any of the concerns you're having on the Look-See. The next thing I'm going to show you, we did a video on this previously, but it's totally worth mentioning again, is the Start Your Child. This is your Start Your Child's Education with Good Vision. This program is I See, I Learn. It offers your children who need glasses, free glasses if they are starting JK this year. So again, there is an eye doctor close by in Trenton, Dr. Coward's office, who is facilitating this program. It's worth getting your child in to have their eyes screened before school starts. That way you rule out any concerns they may have. Also worth mentioning a dental visit before kids start school. And I know the dentist is open for business right now because we are actually located right beside a dentist's office, and we're running as usual with extra precautions. So the next little thing that I have handed to you, and I know that on here it's a little tougher to see, helpful questions to ask when our children get home from school. I'll often ask my children, even today, they're a little older, how was your day, hun? And I don't get a whole lot of information. But if I ask things like, who did you play with at recess? What did you make? What types of things did you play with in the block center? They're more direct questions and I get more direct answers. And it makes me feel a little bit better to know how their day went as well. Because these little ones are 3 and 4 years old, we're sending them off into a big world, and we want them to have ways to handle their emotions because we want to normalize that having those emotions, perfectly normal. We want them to have those emotions. We also want them to have coping tools when they get there. If they're sad or angry or super excited or maybe feeling a little anxious, we want them to have tools to deal with those emotions. So on the back of that same questionnaire is the zones of regulation, and it talks about what zone you're in. I'm feeling a little blue right now, or maybe you're in the green zone. It's a nice little tool. I know the school board uses it because I printed this off their website. But we're also going to talk about coping tools. What are we going to do to deal with those really big feelings of anger when you're at school? So we're going to talk about mindfulness. We're going to talk about breathing exercises. We're going to talk about all the things you're already doing at home when our children are feeling those big feelings. We don't want to shame them for those feelings because they are absolutely normal. But we really want to give them some tools so that when they go to the big, big world, they'll be more able to deal with those big feelings when they're away from you. Okay, so the next part we're going to chat about is... Okay, so I've also in the bag provided some things for your little ones to work on. Some of them are a little messy, but that's okay because life's a little messy, right? So one of the things that is a really big bonus is self-help skills for your little ones. Do they know how to, this is kind of tricky. I didn't realize these were as tricky when I bought them. Anyway, it's a great opportunity for your little ones to be working on their fine motor and their self-help skills and opening the things in their lunch. So have you thought about stuff like this? Have you set them up for success when you're sending them their lunch items? So I'm not saying go spend $1 million. I'm not saying get the best like bento box you can find out there. Absolutely not saying that. But I am saying make sure whatever you do get, your child can open. So maybe you have the summer to practice that. So here's a little container, super awesome, just really easy to open, I find. But maybe this summer when you're going and having picnics, you want to work on that skill, or maybe even just regular lunch or dinner at home, and you want to get them practicing these fine motor skills. It's also building their fine motor skills and those hand bones and the muscles in their arms as well. But it's also making them more successful when they do start school in the fall. Okay, so that being said, self-help can be introduced in a million different ways. We can be getting our own shoes on. We can be wiping our own bums. I know, horrifying. A lot of them, they don't want to wipe their own bums. It's probably what they're going to need to learn to do this summer. So I challenge you to have your little one wiping their own bum, if possible. Friends, it's probably not going to be best case scenario. Sometimes it might be a little messy when they get home. Totally okay. Don't worry about it. Part of life, right? The growing pains of life. A lot of little ones will be working on the toddler toss, which is a way to get their coat on. I'll have you Google a video on it. I won't do a demo right now. But they're getting their own coat on by putting their arms in first and flipping their coat over their head. That way, they're not waiting for the help of the one teacher who may have, ideally, sometimes they have 20 in their own care, right? So if they can get all of their clothing on, indoor, outdoor, that's fantastic. And as we build to the winter season, that is absolutely a new battle, but you'll be working on those things and you'll be building success for your little ones by helping them with their self-help. Can they wash their own hands, roll their own sleeves up? Can they use paper towel after they wash their hands? All of those sorts of things are things you want to be thinking about. How can I make sure he or she, they're feeling comfortable when they head to school this fall? Okay, so now for a little fun. I absolutely don't, this is a hard thing to say. I love that children know their letters and their numbers. I don't think it is the number one goal to be working on. I think it's fantastic if you can be introducing holding pencils, etc., but not in a strict manner that's all that matters. It's great if they know what octagon is. That's fantastic. More than anything, I want to make sure that they can grasp a pencil, because it doesn't start by holding the pencil like this. It starts by holding the pencil like this. This is the palmar grasp. They're doing this before they can ever move to this. So we're going to try and make this fun for them. So I've provided a little plastic bag and some Q-tips and some paint. You're going to put the paint inside this bag, and then you're going to close it. And honestly, your children are going to love this. They'll have fun moving the paint all around in there. And then you're going to use a Q-tip, because that's kind of promoting that grasp like this. And they're going to practice circles and moving and scribbling and moving their finger around on the bag to get the idea of pre-writing skills. I've also included a chart which talks about pre-writing skills. It doesn't just start with picking up the pen and writing your name. There's all of these steps that go ahead of that. Please forgive my photocopier. Could have done a better job, but it does definitely give you the idea. These are all the things that come before we can write our name. So there's scribbling, and then it shows you the stage down here as well. So absolutely, there's lots of stages before they're going to write their name for you. So that's a fun little activity for them. This one kind of is a really nice sense of self activity. Just recognizing that everybody has two eyes, a nose, and they maybe want to specialize this. And maybe they want to do a picture of them and then a picture of them on the backside too. And that's awesome. They'll enjoy that as well. And if your kids don't love coloring, that is okay too. You could throw some glue on there and provide some loose parts for gluing. Totally up to you. I want them to enjoy this part of the activity. So whatever they love, go for it. When your children are there, this is another fun activity, just following the line. But if they don't enjoy this and aren't there yet, no worries, don't pressure it. And there's little markers to work with it as well. A little tissue to clean it off. Super fun. So yeah, that is the kindergarten readiness kit. If you have questions, please reach out to me. I'll answer those questions and we can have a conversation. Maybe you have different ideas and I'd love to hear those too. And I just kind of want to give you a little shout out. You're going to get through this. Maybe this isn't your first child starting school, but your child's going to do a fantastic job. Practice mask wearing. I believe a lot of the schools are just indicating everyone wear a mask. So just practice that skill. No stress, just so they know kind of that might be part of their day. And yeah, I wish you all the best of luck. You're all going to do a fantastic job as you start this new adventure. And I'll look forward to hearing you and seeing all those first day of JK photos. Take care, guys.